Hello guys, this is Donna Kato. Welcome to my channel. Um, Today's class is a little bit different. It is going to be color replacement. And what is that? It's replacing one color for another. Now I've put up a picture of a necklace and the two beads that are polka dotted. Those are actually just color replacement. So I'm going to be showing you how to do polka dots. Now, you may be surprised that the frames following are actually in color and they're actually stills. So this is an experiment. You can tell me whether you approve of this format or whether I should just forget about it, because honestly, I have a lot of stills of step outs. So if this works, it is kind of a nice, convenient way of teaching you with still photographs, and I can go into great detail about those. So without further ado, let's get started. Okay, first of all, you're going to need a sheet of clay. Actually, you need two sheets, and they should be the same thickness. I would say a medium thickness works, maybe a 3 or a 4. And, the photo shows a ruler and well, I have to confess, I'm not normally so specific about this, but you can be if you want to. I've also, you can see, measured the positioning of the polka dots much more carefully than I normally do. Ordinarily, I just punch the holes and go on my merry way, and they tend to be close enough. So this is kind of up to you whether you want to map them out or not. But if you do, then just try to map out the upper row, the bottom row, and then the pieces will fall into place in the middle. This particular sheet I'm showing you is basically one, two, three, maybe 4 rows um, of polka dots, and they are not stacked one on top of the other. They're offset, so the second row will fall in between the first. So that was a long explanation for very little, so we're going to go on. And here you see a Kemper cutter cutting into the sheet of clay. Kemper cutters come in many sizes. I would say you could use any size, of course, that you want, but your polka dots are probably going to be fairly small because we're going to be putting them on beads or wrapping around pods or something like that. So of course you don't want them to be too terribly large, I don't think. Of course, I mean, this is just personal taste. It's up to you. But I think this one was about between a ½ inch and maybe 5/8 of an inch. You got a lot of choices with them, so just choose what you like and then cut your holes. Well, here you see on the left a sheet with all the holes that I cut out. And I wasn't very careful about the holes themselves, the cutouts themselves. And you know what? I should have been. Because I should have been doing 2 sheets at the same time. I wasn't. So most likely all those red circles ended up being in just this wad on my work surface. So with a little planning, you can actually make 2 sheets. I could have made a red sheet with orange dots. I could have made an orange sheet with red dots. I did learn this a bit later, but now I filed that one under missed opportunity. And when you make yours, you're going to want to make sure that you make 2 sheets, that you carefully cut the dots out of one sheet, you set them aside and you don't mush them into a wad, and then you carefully cut the holes out of the other sheet, and you do not mush those up because you're going to switch out the dots. Okay, I think I made my point. All right, so the point of the following 2 frames is just to point out that when you use a cutter and you cut into clay on the top, it forms a rounded edge. And when it meets your work surface, you get a nice sharp edge. Now, the rounded edge when you use Kemper cutters is very easy to determine. It's the one with that little dimple in the middle from the pusher. And so you know that's the round side. So when you take the opposite color and you put it into the sheet, you want to make sure that that dimple is down so that what you have is a round edge of the larger sheet with the holes in it, and then the cutout, the sharp corners are up, and that's those two surfaces are meeting. A round and a sharp are meeting. You know why? Because it's easier to integrate the dot into the sheet. You don't have a larger space that you have to fill because you're going to have to smooth these out and join them, which follows. So just make sure that you put that round side down and point the sharp edge up so that it meets the round edge in the sheet. I hope that's clear. If it's not, ask me in the comments. I will write the explanation. Okay, we're moving on. All right, I'm putting the orange dots in those holes. But one thing you can't really see is that I'm working on deli paper. That deli paper is quite important. It's going to be a clay sandwich. There's going to be deli paper on the top and deli paper on the bottom. It's very important, very important. It acts as a dam and it helps us maintain the integrity of the pattern because as we rub and rub against it, that paper is holding that clay in place. It can't get overly thin in spots. It can't move. It's trapped. It has nowhere to go but to fill in any of the spaces between the red and the black. So you're going to work both sides, of course. Just flip it over and push. If you see any white areas, and I can see them as I'm looking at that video, that means there's air in between. And if you see them, you should really keep rubbing until you don't see those white areas. And here you see, you're going to peel the paper away from the clay, not the reverse. Always peel the paper from the clay. And really inspect it, and I'm sorry it's not in focus, but really inspect and make sure that those pieces are well joined. If they aren't, then you're going to put the paper back down and you're going to continue the process. Use your fingers, direct your energy to any particular spot that needs attention. And once you do that, you'll have this nice, perfect polka dotted sheet. So that is as simple as it gets. Okay, so I wanted to show you one of my favorite necklaces, something that I made a while ago, and with the exception of the violet pieces, they are all color replacements. So you can see that even though in this tutorial you're making polka dots, round polka dots, you can use triangles. You can use basically any shaped cutter you can find to do this. And you know what? I think later I'll show you the concentric, the lopsided circles one as a separate class. But I think that you can see that the others, again with the exception of the violet, were made exactly the way I have taught you in this tutorial. So I hope you enjoyed it, and if you enjoyed it, please like and subscribe, and we'll meet up again soon. Bye.